Hello, my fellow Americans. Obama here. My good pal, Mr. Judge, has recently put together a presentation that exposes Umar Johnson's lies and hypocrisy. We hope that this will lead to people rejecting Umar Johnson's support and see him for the monster he is. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this presentation. Let's begin with Umar Johnson's actual background. His real name is Jermaine Shoemake. Umar Johnson is an alias Shoemake started using around 2006. This is important because Umar has lied, claiming that his father, who is Jamal Abdullah Johnson, named him Umar. He was also born in the United States, specifically North Philadelphia in 1975. This establishes the fact that Umar is a pathological liar, as his very own public persona is used to hide his true identity and background, and to demonstrate how you cannot trust someone who plays a character over being genuine. Now, Umar claims that he is a doctor of clinical psychology. However, the truth of the matter is that while he does hold a PhD in psychology, he is not a licensed psychologist and was fined by the Board of Psychology in 2012 in Philadelphia. He even entered an agreement with the board to avoid charges by never claiming or to try to practice psychology in the state of Philadelphia. That is why you do not ever see him there, because he can actually get into hot water if he goes to Philadelphia and claims to be a psychologist. In short, this fraud was banned from practicing psychology for engaging in psychology in a fraudulent manner. Let's talk about Umar's teachings and his own hypocrisy. It all boils down to him theoretically encouraging Black independence and nationalism with an emphasis on economic isolation, including the refusal to marry whites and to only support Black businesses. However, he himself is often a hypocrite of these teachings, as he is known to have engaged in romantic endeavors with white women despite claiming to oppose interracial relationships. He is also known for lecturing about uniting Black people, yet divides them by calling them coons and Negroes, as well as not being an active father in his children's lives. Finally, this leads us to Umar Johnson's "I am the most sought-out Black scholar in the world" assertion. This claim is supported by nothing more than Umar's fat blubber he calls a mouth. Actual research shows that he has been banned from entering the UK since 2018. He also rarely ever gets to speak at events in academic institutions due to his unsupportive views. This often forces him to take on rented halls instead, and even then most of them get cancelled once the owners realize what his actual beliefs are. So, he is really the most unwanted Black scholar in the world. Why else do you think he speaks on shows that no one listens to or in the back of his car? Because he doesn't have anyone of actual influence to raise him to the level he pretends to be at. Now that we know he is not the most requested scholar on the planet, let's move on to his most controversial topic of discussion: race. He has claimed that he does not hate white people. Yet, he has coined the phrase "ice people" to demonize whites as barbaric cannibals who lack empathy. He also has the same racial purity mindset as the KKK and has taken contradictory stances on mixed-race people. He claims they cannot be Black and should not have leadership roles. Yet, will often say mixed people can indeed be Black if they align themselves with Black culture. Ultimately, this mindset is extremely harmful, since this creates an us versus them mentality that deepens racial division and conflict, rather than creating a more peaceful and productive world. Now let us move on to FDMG. FDMG is, as many of you know, is Umar's main source of income, since its stated mission is to save young Black boys and teach them Pan-African and Black nationalist ideals. However, the reality is that while Johnson has in fact raised millions of dollars for this school, and even continues to this day, he has missed constant deadlines for well over a decade and continuing onward. And that is all before we get into the current state of the building. The buildings themselves are dilapidated, in disrepair, and cannot function as a school. The IRS has even revoked its status as tax-exempt. So the question you have to ask yourself is, why are you continuing to pay for a destroyed building that isn't even non-profit, since Umar demands money and doesn't do any of the paperwork? We know the millions are not going to the school. You are wasting money at this point, people. Wake up and stop doing it. Let's dive into a more recent topic. As you know, in April of 2024, Umar's bank accounts were frozen due to suspected fraudulent activity around the same time he lost his IRS nonprofit status. Most of us would conclude that he was caught for engaging in fraudulent activity. Umar wasn't prepared for this event, so he had to do something to get people to still donate to him. That is why his response to this event was to go on social media and blame Jews and white people. Not only does he have no proof of a conspiracy, but a question you should also be wondering is, why did they wait 6 years to hit his banks? If there was a group really trying to take you down, they would not wait nearly a decade to act. The reality is that Umar's scamming finally caught up with him, and he needed to do something to maintain his income. So he made up common lies that many people believe. Oh, it was not me, it was the Jews. All he has is excuses. He doesn't have proof. Also in that same month, Umar was served eviction notices by the city of Wellington in Delaware for failure to pay rent fees and late fees that were in the thousands. This revelation further solidified the fact that he was in fact engaging in fraud. His response was to again claim that it was all a conspiracy set against him. This time, however, he lied, claiming the document was photoshopped. He then later claimed that spies in his own support group, such as black politicians, were responsible. Yet, he still asked people to donate to him. He would also later go on to blame the city, claiming that the city did not properly notify him and that he tried to file for nonprofit status in December of the previous year. However, the city would later debunk both claims. It is important to note that information on the true status of the school is unknown. The last creditable source of information given was that the school was to be sold at auction on the 28th of April in 2024. No credible information has been released on that status. What is our conclusion of this presentation? Based on the evidence that I have given you, it cannot be denied that Umar Johnson, whose real name is Jermaine Shoemake, has a history of being a fraud, manipulating the people, being a hypocrite of his own teachings, and has taken millions for personal profit rather than for civil services he never gave. That puts his status as a scammer with little to no doubt. But that is also not the worst aspect of all, even if after looking at all this evidence you say he is somehow not a scammer. That still does not make him any less than an intolerable bigot whose rhetoric and hate message is so bad that he had to be banned from an entire country. Think about the monstrous impact that has on the black community. Not only is he not building anything he promised you and making you all the more poor for it, but he also wants you to isolate yourself and hang on to his every word. And some of you who are so lost won't even see a problem with it. Yet, what will that do for your life? Keep you in a dirt-poor ghetto, ruin your credit score, and hate on other people based on skin color. What will that do for you at the end when you're old and elderly and Umar Johnson is dead from old age himself? That is a waste of life. Please, do not be a zombie. Think for yourself. Look upon yourself with character, not color. Focus on actually building yourself and others up, not who to blame for your problems or how to divide your own support group. Please like, comment, and subscribe.